This is Bolivia's starting 11. No, not that one. This is Bolivia's starting 11 combined market value according to Transfer Market. It's the second least valuable squad in CONMEBOL. Their whole national team is worth less than one Premier League player. Yet, in World Cup qualifiers, Bolivia has finished above Chile, Venezuela, and Peru. How did that happen? Well, because Bolivia's real advantage isn't talent, it's geography. La Paz, where they play, sits 3,600 meters above sea level. That's like playing football halfway up Mount Everest. Gravity is the force that pulls everything towards the earth. Every object around us is subject to it. But what about gases? Well, same principle applies. Here you can see how air particles are distributed in space. The higher you go, the fewer particles there are. That's exactly why in La Paz, there's around 40% less available oxygen than at sea level. If you go there, you probably won't be able to sleep until your body adapts. And trust me, players feel that. Just look at Di Maria struggling to breathe despite having an oxygen tank. The whole sport changes completely because football wasn't originally designed to be played like this. Since there's less pressure, the ball experiences less friction in the air and moves faster, becoming far more unpredictable. Bolivians know about it, and it has worked for them more than once, beating Argentina and Brazil plenty of times, but also winning a Copa America, surprise, held in La Paz. However, while they have the opportunity to win more than what they would in more balanced conditions, hype doesn't do magic. No player becomes better at 3,600 meters above sea level. It only makes rivals underperform. Sure, Bolivian players may be acclimated to low oxygen, but that doesn't make them superior athletes. It just means they tolerate a stress that cripples visiting players. Once they face a team from a country that also has some height, the advantage disappears. And this is what happens with Ecuador, the other country with a high-altitude stadium. Every time they face Bolivia in La Paz, they don't seem to feel the symptoms at all. Actually, they are the only team that seems immune to their hack, and numbers back them. They are the only ones with a positive record in La Paz against Bolivia. All the rest, negative. But this kind of advantage that the Altiplánicos enjoy seems to trigger an interesting domino effect. Bolivia can win games at home, but that same advantage leaves them completely exposed away from it. In fact, they won only 4 away games in World Cup qualifiers. That's roughly 2% of all the games they have ever played, and that's worse than San Marino and Luxembourg. To put that into perspective, Venezuela comes next with 7 away wins. This means they won more or less as many home games as Bolivia, without any advantages. It seems like on paper, they don't really seem to be performing any better than Venezuela, despite the height. And that's where the real problem begins. Because what if Bolivia's biggest advantage is actually its biggest limitation? Unlike the other nations, Bolivia has never had truly standout international talents. One possible reason is how inconsistent high-altitude adapted players can be when playing at sea level. See, Bolivia is very different to other nations with high-altitude cities. In Peru, they have Cusco that's 3,400 meters above sea level, but most of their good clubs are in Lima, so they aren't used to the height. In Colombia, they have Bogotá sitting at 2,600 meters above sea level, but they rather play in Barranquilla because they have a different advantage: extreme heat. In Bolivia, the best clubs are in La Paz, although Santa Cruz is their most important city and sits at sea level. As a consequence, Bolivian players rarely leave their domestic league, not only because they lack talent, but also because scouts don't trust what they're seeing. Performances are dismissed as just high altitude. The story is communicated poorly, so the value is never truly believed. And this doesn't just happen in football. Great work goes unnoticed when it's badly communicated. If you don't control the narrative, people assume your success is luck, context, or a gimmick. That's why I'm here. I help brands and creators communicate their value properly, through motion and graphic design, so their work converts, travels, and gets taken seriously. Hit me up and let's do great things together. All these elements help us explain Bolivia's complex situation. Despite all of their advantages, their records are really similar to other weak CONMEBOL nations. Many people claim that despite them not being incredibly successful, playing at that height should be banned. And it's not like FIFA hasn't noticed. In fact, they did ban this kind of games, but they did an exception for Bolivia. Why? Well, for starters, a ban would probably make most home games for teams like Always Ready FC illegal, which feels kinda wrong, to be honest. And also it would make people from El Alto and La Paz unable to watch football matches, and especially their national team. Still, that idea is highly overused. When you look at Bolivia's demographic, you learn that it's actually Santa Cruz where the most people live, which begs they should be playing most games in there. But the problem is that they are only 400 meters above sea level. This means they have no more advantages. And naturally, their results have been pretty frustrating in there. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing. Bolivia seems to have a choice to make. To continue playing in La Paz, El Alto, winning some games but achieving one World Cup qualification in 30 years, or to face reality, opt to develop their football and begin to play in Santa Cruz, make the biggest crowd more interested in football, and to begin a journey to have their first ever real golden generation. Today, they are deliberately choosing to play in the hype, and their future seems to be predictable, but hopefully they prove me wrong. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing in order for me to reach more Latin American football enthusiasts. Don't forget about commenting what are your thoughts regarding Bolivia playing in La Paz and El Alto rather than in Santa Cruz. So that's it. See you!